everyone, hope you're well. Welcome back to my channel. So if you don't know me already, I'm Sarah. I'm a mum of two. I have a 3.5-year-old daughter and a 1-year-old son, and I tend to do a lot of videos, sort of vlogs, hauls, things like this, chatty videos. I'm trying to do more chatty videos and more sort of just tips and tricks and experiences I've had as a parent, because they tend to reach out to quite a lot of people, so that's just what I'm trying to do. So yeah, I thought it would be good to do a video today on 10 things that I feel guilty about as a mum, which I shouldn't feel guilty about. The first one, and it's my number one, and it won't apply to everyone, but it's working. I shouldn't feel guilty about it because I want to work and I like working and I like my job and I like having an income and I like having that time. But I do feel guilty because I do feel like I'm missing out, and I do get negativeness from other people and other parents about the fact I work, and especially the amount of hours I do work, and also the fact that I technically have 2 jobs because I have my day job, my office job, and then I have this blog and YouTube job as well. So I do come up against criticism and negativeness, so the guilt is there, and it's something that I don't feel we should be guilty about. There's not many men I know out there that feel guilty about going to work. It is mainly women, and it's just one of these things that's kind of just the way it's been for a while, and now the tide's kind of shifting a bit and mums are not expected to go back to work, but there's more things in place to allow mums to go back to work, and there is just a little bit more of a shift in mentalities that mums do go back to work and their place isn't just seen in the home and as the mum and everything else. Because yeah, being a stay-at-home mum is incredibly hard, and it's a very, very, very hard job in itself, and even on maternity leave I struggled with that role. I really did. So I liked going back to work and I was always ready to go back to work. I don't think I have the balance quite right yet, which is why I think I still get guilt. But yeah, that's my first mum guilt thing that I shouldn't feel guilty about, but I do. Number 2 is a dummy, using a dummy. So with Isla, she loved her dummy, absolutely loved it, and we got rid of it fine at the age of 2. To be honest, she'd stopped having it during the day from 1 and a bit-ish, and she was only having it nap times and bedtimes, and then we completely got rid of it. Sorry, the light's really bad because there's loads of clouds in the sky today, and I'm filming this on my lunch break, so sorry about that. So yeah, Isla, we got rid of her dummy at 2, completely fine, 1 night of fuss and then done. And then with Lachlan, I was like, well, if he doesn't want a dummy, I'm not going to force a dummy upon him, and he really didn't want it as a newborn, really didn't. I spent so much money on different kinds of dummies, basically just because he has silent reflux, and we were told that having that sucking motion and having a dummy would kind of help the acid stay down. So I pretty much did force a dummy upon him, and he still has one now, and it's almost as if he's getting to the stage where he's having more than I'd like him to. So I feel guilt about that, which is just ridiculous, because why would you feel guilty about a dummy? It's because other people make you feel guilty. So I find myself pulling the dummy out of his mouth before I take a photo or film him, and I'm like, why am I doing that? He likes it, it's comforting him, he's still so young just now that it's my prerogative, it helps me out as a parent, so I shouldn't feel guilty about it, but I do. My number 3 thing was combi feeding. So Lachlan wouldn't latch for a month when I first had him, so I did breastfeed him for a year, but that first month he got a lot of express milk from a bottle and had to be topped up with formula, and I have no problem with formula. Isla was formula fed, so no problem with formula. Fed is best, completely on board with that. But I just felt this guilt this time around, I think because I was breastfeeding him when I did switch to combi feeding at around 8 months, 8-9 months when I went back to work. I felt this guilt because I was like, I've worked so hard to get breastfeeding up to where it is and being able to do it, and now I'm just cutting it down and topping him up with formula. And I just felt this guilt that I didn't know where it had come from, because why would I feel guilty about formula feeding when I formula fed my first child? It was the strangest thing. So it was almost as if I was ashamed to like bottle feed him in public, which is just insane. But the weird thing is, when I was breastfeeding, I also felt ashamed to sometimes breastfeed him in public because of opinions and people. So I feel like no matter what you do feeding wise, you can't win with other people. So you just need to get rid of it, stop thinking about it, and just focus on your baby. As long as they're happy, who cares? Like, who cares how you're feeding your baby? It's completely up to you. But I did feel this guilt about switching back from, and I was still breastfeeding 3 times a day, but he had the 2 bottles at nursery because it just wasn't feasible for me to express, and I don't think I actually had it in me to give him enough at that point through expressing. Like, my expressing had sort of stopped coming out as much. But yeah, I felt some guilt over that. I really didn't expect to, and I don't feel like I should have done, but I did. Number 5, which is ironic for me being a blogger and a vlogger, is I feel guilty about not keeping up with his milestones. So I was really good for the first 6 months. Got all the lovely photos, got all the blog updates, got all the YouTube updates. And then life just got even crazier when I went back to work. So although I have them all filmed, they're not up and I've not edited the clips together. I have the blog things all written, but I don't have photos to match in. So even though I am recording them, not so much after it passed a year, I do feel this insane guilt about not keeping up with it. I think it's because I started it. I think if I'd never done it in the first place, it would have been fine. But because I started it, I just feel guilty I haven't kept up with it. So, it's just silly. It's so silly. There's so much things on social media and just like memories in your own head and that you don't need to be doing it. But I think for me, it was just because I'd started on that path that I felt guilty about not keeping up with it as much as I should have. Number 6 is having me time. So I'm a firm believer in mums need me time, and they just need, even if it's 5 minutes, 10 minutes, an hour, a night away, a day away, a weekend away, whatever it is you need to gather your thoughts and be happy in yourself as a person, to then in turn be an even better parent, is so important. If it's the gym, if it's meeting a friend for a coffee, if it's just sitting upstairs by yourself with a book, if it's doing blog and YouTube stuff like I do, or going shopping, it's so important to have me time. But I always find as soon as I do, I feel super guilty about it. And like if I'm going out for the night, I prep the kids, I get everything set up for bath and bedtime, I do everything I can to make everything as smooth as possible for my husband. But he's such a good dad and he's so hands-on. He can do it by himself. He doesn't need me doing that, and he doesn't expect to do that for me if he's going out. But it's just this weird mum guilt thing that just eats away at me. Number 7 of my mum guilt things I shouldn't feel guilty about is the fact that I love my kids' nursery. I absolutely love where they go. It's just this amazing, amazing place that nurtures them and gives them so much in terms of learning and playing and experiences and everything. Like their facilities are amazing, the staff are great, they're just, it's like a home from home, and it just makes me so happy. But I almost feel like I should resent the fact that they're away from me. That's kind of a feeling I sometimes get, and sometimes when I rave about their nursery, and I don't know, other parents I meet don't quite feel the same. They kind of look at me in a weird way, but I'm like, no, they're so happy. They're so very happy, and that's so important to me. As a working mom, or not even if you're a working mom, just if your kids go to nursery for a few hours a week, then it's important for you to love where they go or be really happy with where they go. So yeah, it's one of these things I, again, never thought I'd be made to feel guilty about, but I have. Number 8 is saying that being a mum is hard or a parent is hard. Saying it out loud and saying I struggle, saying it's relentless, saying it's often a thankless job, not job, but a thankless experience. Kids are great. Kids out of nowhere will come running over to you and hug you and kiss you for no reason, but they won't thank you like for running their bath every night or doing their stories, because that's just what you do as a parent. So it is hard. It's like a job with no holidays, no private healthcare, no financial bonuses or anything like that. So it's hard, it's so hard, and I think there are a lot more conversations now, especially with all this social media that we have these days, that are honest and say it is hard, but still sometimes you feel like you need to be powering through and being like, no, it's amazing, it's the best thing ever, I'm having the best time, yeah. But in your head you're like, oh gosh, I'm really struggling. And then it's really important to have that support network around you, friends, family, just people to talk to online, or places you can go for advice. It's so important because it is hard. Number 9 is a funny one. It's buying anything for myself. So I will be in a queue in a shop with loads of stuff for the kids, a few bits for me, and I'll stand there waiting to pay, and 99% of the time I will put back the stuff for me and just buy the stuff for the kids. It's just what we do. It just seems to be what we do. There's just this guilt around spending any money on yourself and not your kids. Number 10 is a biggie, and it's a controversial one, but controlled crying. So I'm sure there's a lot of people out there who probably think you should feel guilty for that. Like, I don't believe with that, and that's completely fine because we're all different and we all use different parenting techniques, and I don't feel guilty about it because it's worked, and I don't feel guilty about it because I do feel like it's a necessity in lots of cases, and I don't feel like it harms my kids. Everyone's entitled to their own opinion. The only thing I feel guilty about is just, of course, it's a human thing. If your child's crying, you just want to comfort them, and you do get that guilt of standing outside counting down the seconds until you can go in. But it's just something we've done, and it's something that's changed our bedtimes and changed the way our kids sort of react around bedtime. So it has been very important to us as a parenting technique, but you're still allowed to feel guilty about it without feeling you've done something wrong. And that was my 10 tips, and I've got a bonus one for all the silent reflux parents out there, and all the parents who not just silent reflux but have had difficulties with babies in the beginning for all sorts of different reasons. And number 11 is a huge one. It's for feeling scared of my baby. I still to this day, a year, 14 months in, I'm terrified of Lachlan sometimes because I don't know how to handle him sometimes with the reflux and things, and I've spent a lot of his first year being terrified of him, and I feel so guilty for that, and it's not his fault. It's just some sort of emotional barrier I've put up in reaction to the silent reflux and what you have to go through with that sort of thing. So yeah, that's my bonus one, my worst one that I feel worst about. But yeah, thanks so much for watching this video. I hope you've enjoyed it. If you can relate to any of these, then pop me a comment in the comments below. And yeah, I just like starting conversations about these sorts of things and letting people know they're not alone and we're all in it together. Don't forget to subscribe if you haven't already and you're interested in hearing me witter on. But thanks for watching. I'll see you soon. Bye.